Oh, I'm not ready. So we don't have no civilians today?
We're on. Hold up, Jamal.
That's a direct order. Do it now.
Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, December the 12th, 2024. We are Roll Call, Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. I'm here with D, AC, Rich, Dave, Jamel, Kyle, Cheech, Melba.
Muted.
You muted.
Y'all let me go through all of that, and I was muted the whole
You
time.
were muted, and then you started off.
No,
It was up to
me.
me.
Start all over.
All right, listen. Today, we are Roll Call. Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. Today is Thursday, December 12th, 2024. I'm here with D, AC, Rich, Dave, Jamel, Kyle, Cheech, Melba, Mark, CJ, Jim, and Derek. All right, we got a show prepared for you. But before we get started, I want to start off with a moment of silence. All right, listen, we're going to start off with our disclaimer. We're going to have Kyle give us our disclaimer, and we're going to have Melba, Cheech give us our disclaimer, and Melba give us our statement of purpose.
Mm-hmm. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. Before we get started, we wanted to go over a couple of things. First, we want to let you know that everything that we say here, pertaining to the laws, it changes from state to state. So please check with your local departments, local attorney, because something that we might say on here might be different for your area. So don't go by what we say. Also, once in a while, we do display videos that might be graphic in nature. They might have some obscene language, or we will let you know ahead of time when we display these videos. These videos are not the property of Roll Call. We get them from social media like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So you guys can also access them. They are not the property of Roll Call, like I said. Also, everybody here speaks from the heart. There's no censoring. We speak our minds. Sometimes we don't even agree with each other. You'll see that, but we might say some things that are not for kids to hear. So please be aware of that. And that's basically it. Thank you.
Well, you're on, Melba.
Oh, so good afternoon. Y'all know why you're here. Your Roll Call, Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. We have 4 basic tenets, right? We are anti-racism. We are pro-law enforcement. We believe in equitable policing. And most importantly, Black lives do matter. That's it in a nutshell.
All right. Before I turn over to our host today, which I've asked AC to host us, let me just say, we'll continue to pray for my family. Loss of my son, loss of my brother, loss of my wife's uncle. And this is all within the last 2 months. And last week, 2 of them passed away. We continue to pray for Cheech, JT, Orlando. JT and Orlando, we're praying for Ursa and Tyrone. And last week, I'm sure the panel laughed at me last week when I put on there, how did y'all let me forget Kyle's birthday? Then I look up about 50 messages above that, and everyone in there said happy birthday except for me. So, listen, I want to publicly say on roll call, happy birthday to Kyle. Her birthday was on Sunday. Kyle turned 30 all over again, y'all. So we're saying happy birthday to Kyle. And then this week has been a very busy week for me. My son's birthday would have been on Monday. My granddaughter's birthday was on Tuesday, and my wife Sylvia's birthday is on tomorrow. So it's a real heavy week for us. Oh, and Mark Matthews' birthday is tomorrow. That's right. Let me not forget that. It just clicked when I looked at you too, Mark. So Mark Matthews' birthday is Monday. They share birthdays together, and so my wife and I, we went out to East Winds, was a spa and salon out east, and stayed out there for a couple of days, just to get a little bit of time away. So that's where we are. I'm going to turn it over. Does anyone have anything else to say before I turn over to AC? Because AC going to run a tight ship, y'all. So y'all better be ready. Here he comes. Anybody got anything to say before I turn it over? I'm going to release it. CJ, I'm listening.
I'm good.
All right. Derek?
No, sir.
All right.
AC, take it over.
It's yours, AC.
Wow, all right. Everybody got their buttons ready? Raise your hands and stuff. All right. Okay, D, go ahead and get started with the first one. We're good.
Okay, our first video is going to take us to New Jersey. Say again? Oh,
Jersey?
I said something, yeah. Apparently there's been some drone sightings in New Jersey, and they're not really sure where they're coming from. Let's take a look.
The growing concern over what are now dozens of unexplained mysterious drone sightings in the state of New Jersey. Yesterday, the Pentagon weighed in, saying there's still no evidence the drones are from a foreign threat. But that is not all that reassuring, and there's a lot we do not know. Tom Hansen has more.
Across New Jersey,
honestly, every single day there's more conspiracy theories.
Olivia DiMatteo is a businesswoman in Morris County who says the drone sightings have been happening for weeks.
Have you seen them yourself?
I have. They are out every single night in Mendham. You can look out your window and see anywhere between 4 to 8 of them.
The state's governor, Phil Murphy, says there's no concern over public safety. One New Jersey Congressman, Jeff Van Drew, made waves Wednesday when he stated that sources with high-level security clearance told him the drones were coming from what he called an Iranian mothership offshore.
I hope that my experts and the people that have come to me with this security clearance, I hope they're wrong.
So I'm hearing concerns, but do you have any concrete evidence that these drones are in fact coming from Iran?
The evidence that I have comes from individuals who have expressed their concern to me who are highly placed.
The Pentagon has directly pushed back on those claims.
There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no...
And while law enforcement works to track down the source of the drones, there have been reports of sightings in the Philadelphia and New York City areas. For CBS Mornings, I'm Tom Hansen in Mendham, New Jersey.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah. First things first, I'm going to be brief. I'm getting tired of these bullshit Republicans trying to blame everything on Iran when Iran is in serious damage control right now for what Israel's done to them. Number two, I saw Admiral Kirby on TV today, and he said, he said these appear to be manned, but I actually believe that the government knows what's going on with those things. Some of them are bigger than the SUV, okay? There's shit flying around up there like that. You know damn well the government knows what's going on up there. I'm done.
Jim?
Yeah, Dave said it exactly in a different way than I would say it, but he's absolutely right. I mean, this is a lot of nonsense, is what it is. The United States government knows that there's an Iranian ship offshore that's flying. They would be blown out of the sky in the sea in about 30 seconds. So this is just, in my opinion, but a media hype to say, look at this, look at this. I don't put any stock in that it's anything at all, except a couple of knuckleheads flying, creating a little havoc and a little fun. That's it.
All right. Mom?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Well, I kind of disagree with Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey. If in fact, these drones are the size of small cars, I would be concerned with my personal safety. I mean, hell, first of all, we don't even know who's flying these things. A professional, sub-novice. I mean, I'm not sure who's, actually out there navigating these large devices. So yeah, if these things are being operated over, large metropolis areas, I mean, hell yeah, people would be concerned about these things getting out of control and falling down on someone's house or something like that. So I kind of disagree with Governor Murphy, and maybe he should step up the investigations as to see who's out there actually piloting these drones and see what's the root of all this stuff, man.
D.
All right, really quick. Good afternoon, everybody. Just want to say quickly, our moniker here is if you see something, say something. If you're seeing something that's that strange, you got to make sure you report it. Having said that, there's a lot of drones out there and a lot of drone pilots that aren't really sure about the rules and regulations of where you can fly, where you can't fly. It's important if you are operating one of these drones. I had one at my neighbor's window last summer, just a guy just flying around, and she happened to be in the shower. I don't know whether that was his intention, but you could get yourself in a lot of trouble. Flying in the wrong place, looking at the wrong thing you shouldn't be doing. So you have to know where to fly these things and how to be safe while you're doing it. It's dangerous if you don't have eyes on it. Those of us that have had the opportunity to fly one, real dangerous if you don't have eyes on it. You're going by the camera. Some of them have GPS now. So you can really get yourself in a lot of trouble, and you could actually hurt someone or hurt yourself or damage someone's property. So I just wanted to say quickly, if they're they say these are car-size drones, which means that's a little more serious than your regular person flying a drone. Just if you're out there flying a drone, just be careful of where you are. Make sure you have the authority to fly there. That's all I wanted to say.
AC.
Yes.
I just want to piggyback on what D is saying, and it's illegal. It's a federal law to shoot down or try to incapacitate these drones while they're in flight. It's illegal.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. It's also, like Dee said, it's also illegal to fly them, especially certain ones that have a certain size and capabilities. It's illegal, and the FAA was supposed to be cracking down on that because they were afraid that they could run into planes, either landing or taking off and stuff like that. So that's another thing that, but I find it hard to believe that these are just regular people with a drone that big, the size of a car, unless they're exaggerating. It has to be more to it than that. And like the one D mentioned, when I fly my drone past, oh, never mind, forget it. So that was it.
Okay, Jim.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody's clear of what I'm saying, because Jamel has a good point. I'm not against investigating who's flying these things and the dangerous that the danger to people that they are. My thing was these ridiculous conspiracy theories that they're coming to get us and the Iranians and all this stuff. That's where I have a huge problem, that it's being sensationalized. So it's not that I don't think the governor and the police should be investigating who's flying these things and make sure they're licensed and abiding by the law. It's just, let's not take it to the next degree and we're being invaded by, Martians and stuff.
Okay. It's sure that he's not from Walmart.
You know what? They went after those Chinese balloons. They told everybody what the hell that was. So I'm telling you, the government's probably got some shit. You got a damn drone for the sky bigger than my damn truck in my garage. Come on, man. Ain't no guy down here flying that shit around. Okay? And the FAA ain't saying nothing. Come on.
Kyle?
Just a quick question. I don't know who said it's illegal to shoot them down. Illegal where, and what's the authority? Do we know? Is that FAA? Is that federal? What? Is it illegal everywhere?
To my understanding, Kyle, yeah, it's a federal law you cannot shoot drones down from out of the sky. So that's like if you were outside in the park and someone's flying a drone, you can't shoot it down.
It makes sense. You know, discharging a firearm in the air. That's a bit dangerous.
Right. Where is it going? Where is it landing?
Yeah. Mark? I'm not Mark. Before you go, Mark, Melvin, you had a question?
No, I was going to add to that. I'm like, if you shoot them down out the air, where are they going to fall? So that's also a public risk, safety risk. No, I was going to add to that. I'm like,
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing that Melba said, but I was also going to add,
public risk, safety risk.
I don't have as much confidence in our government. Same thing that Melba said, but I was also going to say David does. So all I'm saying is if those drones are being flown out there and they don't know who's flying them, this country's got a serious problem. And the FAA is not doing what they're supposed to do because they shouldn't be up, flying around and these guys not know it. Small ones, you can't always stop them. Somebody can walk out in their backyard, fly one, come back in. You're not going to stop that. But something of substantial size, if the FAA doesn't know, they're not doing their job. And, with the way the government is now, we got a lot of those Chinese balloons travel a long distance before they were found out. So I don't really have that much faith in our government and if they're supposed to be doing what they're doing. That's just my opinion.
Before JD go, Mark, I'm not sure those balloons were flying a while before we found out. Before the government found out.
Where were they seen?
I'm not sure.
No, but they crossed over. They crossed over. The ones I'm talking about crossed over Alaska, through California down into like Montana before they were dealt with. Yeah. So they were in our territory long before that story ever came out. So my opinion, and it's just my opinion, but as soon as they got over the United States, somebody should have said something if they're up on their P's and Q's. My opinion, and it's just my opinion, but as soon as
JT, you're next.
Something if they're up on their P's and Q's.
JT, you got
the background, JT. You got to turn something else off.
But it's also your go.
You got the background, JT. You got to turn something else off.
The Facebook Live is behind the live forecast. So if you turn off Facebook Live, you'll be with everyone else. The Facebook Live is behind the live forecast. So if you turn off Facebook Live, you'll be with everyone else.
All right, that sounds a little crazy. That sounds a little crazy.
What you gonna take care of?
Double show.
Okay. What you gonna take care of? We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
I think that's it for this topic. If not, we'll
JT, stop buying your stuff from Walmart. All right.
Let's see.
Okay. D, what's the next one?
Okay. JT, you back? Okay. You good? All right, he's on mute. All right, real quick, we're gonna go on to the next video, and then we're gonna come back to JT. Our next video takes us right here to New York City about a year ago.
Real quick, we're gonna go on to the next video, and then we're gonna come back to.
No, he ain't good.
We had a gentleman on a train, chokehold on a person he believed to be a combatant.
A gentleman.
Trial just happened, and we'll just see what came from the trial.
Person he believed.
Let's take a look.
What came from the trial?
Green's subway chokehold trial and is now sending the jury home for the day. Jurors have been struggling to reach a unanimous verdict on the manslaughter charge Daniel Penny was facing. They've been deliberating since Tuesday on whether to convict Penny in the death of Jordan Neely. Now they will come back Monday to decide on the other charge in the trial. Neely, a 30-year-old subway performer, had been struggling with homelessness, mental illness, and drug use. Witnesses say he had gone into a subway car in May of 2023 and began acting erratically. we're going to show you some of the moments that are really at the center of this case. A moment caught on camera that put the case into the national spotlight, with people rallying for justice for Neely, others in support of what Penny did. But we want to warn you, you may find the video hard to watch. Now, you'll see Penny with his arms wrapped around Neely's neck. Two other men are also trying to hold Neely down as he struggles on the ground. NBC's Rahema Ellis is joining us now. Rahema, take us inside the courtroom now. How did this all unfold today in the last few hours?
It was a very busy day in the courtroom today, Tom, and it started at the very beginning, and that was the third day of deliberation. These jurors, some 20 hours of deliberating. Now what they did starting at 11 o'clock, they sent a note. Take a look at the full screen of what happened. That note went into the judge. It said, "We, the jury," instructions from the judge. He says, "At this time, we're not able to come to a unanimous decision as to count one manslaughter in the second degree." The judge told him, "Go back, take a look at this," something they call the Allen charge. Take a fresh look at it and come back. But in less than a short amount of time, I should say, in an hour, they came back again and said, "We, the jury, request further clarification in the determination of when a person reasonably believes physical force to be necessary." They go back and deliberate. They have lunch. And 2:30, the lunch ends. 3 o'clock, they come back with another question. And the judge receives another note saying the jury still cannot reach a unanimous decision. At that point, with discussion with both the prosecution and the defense attorney, the judge decides that he will dismiss the second degree manslaughter charge against Penny. And now he's just facing that criminally negligent homicide charge. That's a charge that carries, if convicted, 4 years in prison versus 15 if he were convicted of the manslaughter. Tom?
So, Rahema, what are the chances that this could go to a mistrial as the jury considers this other charge now?
There are a lot of people around this courthouse who think that's a real possibility, Tom. These jurors clearly were struggling with the legality of what they were handed in terms of how they would decide this. They could not decide on the more serious offense. Will they be able to decide on this charge of criminally negligent homicide? Again, a lesser charge. We're going to find out on Monday or maybe in the days coming next week whether or not that's possible for them. But for now, it was not something that they were asked to think about. After a long, exhaustive day today, the judge said essentially, that first charge is over. I'm going to dismiss that charge. I'm also going to adjourn you, the jurors, for the day. Have a good weekend. Don't think about this. Come back on Monday and see if you can get this job done. Tom?
Don't think about it. Maybe easier said than done. Rahema, thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about break.
Okay. I see you got your hand there, Jim, and Dave, both get your hands up. JT, you're back.
I'm back?
Yeah, you good now.
I hope y'all had popcorn with all that laughing.
Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I wanted to add, you guys are letting the theory of drones not being able to do what they do, but yet we had 2 747s on 9/11. Ain't nobody took a shot until after. How you think that happened? You don't think nobody in the government knew them fucking planes was on their way? How they let them planes get in our airspace for that long without any military attempt?
Well, I don't have the official story, but I know our government is very sheepish on, well, not sheepish. They don't act fondly or quickly when they talk about killing American citizens. So now, if it was Russia or the former Soviet Union, they would have killed them before anything happened.
Oh, they'd rather let a plane crash and kill thousands, 100,000 here, but don't want to kill the 30 or 40, 50, 60 people on the fucking plane.
Yeah. It's a different concept of how we do hijack planes. We just deal with them differently.
How did that work for you?
Not very well, apparently. Now, Jim, you got a finger up. You need to add something to that?
Hold on. I'm sorry to jump the line, but my thing is based right on that video, which was perfect. That video obviously was before the acquittal, so it goes to what I just wanted to bring up. I'm not talking about the innocence or guilt of the individual. What I'm talking about is the trial itself, and Kyle could help out with this. You have a judge that declares the first charges as a mistrial because the jury could not come to a verdict. Now, that would mean to me, and this is where, Kyle, you could correct me. That would mean to me that there were at least one, if not more, jurors that wanted him found guilty of manslaughter, the higher charge, but they couldn't agree. So they went back to the judge. He threw that whole charge out. Now they go to the second charge of criminal negligence, and they agree. Now, knowing jurors as you do, Kyle, does that seem strange that a juror or two wanted to hang him for the higher charge and then went along and acquitted him for the lower charge? Does that make any sense?
It doesn't make sense. It's very strange. It's very strange that the prosecutor would even allow that first charge to be dismissed. He didn't declare a mistrial on that charge. He dismissed it.
Oh, okay.
So, it does sound like there had to be at least one or two, or how many, voting or deciding for guilty on that charge if they were hung. Some for guilty, some they couldn't decide, they couldn't persuade one another. You would think that if whoever was holding out for guilty on the manslaughter charge would have done the same on the criminal negligent homicide. So it is very curious. It's not consistent with how you would normally try to read a jury. But it's very difficult to understand unless you talk to the jurors themselves to find out what happened. The dynamic in the jury room is we don't know what was going on and who said what and when and how much pressure was put on each other on a particular juror. But it is unusual. It doesn't really make sense that someone would fold on the criminally negligent homicide, which is clearly a lesser charge than the manslaughter, but was holding out for guilty on the manslaughter charge. So it is unusual, and that was my question. And why in the world would the prosecutor allow that charge to be dismissed? Unless the judge had given it to the jury, so it's not like there wasn't sufficient evidence to support the charge. You think he might have held out a little bit more. If it's going to be a mistrial, it'll be a mistrial. But maybe he's thinking what you just said, which is that somebody's voting guilty, and I'm sure to get the guilty verdict. It just didn't turn out that way.
Thank you. Dave?
Yeah, you guys made great points. But first of all, the guy, once he got the initial chokehold on him, he should have let that guy go. The other two guys got there, helped him. He should have let him go. That little guy, that Marine was about 6'5", man, 6'5" and change. You can't tell me he ain't good with his hands. So he should have let that guy go once that kid starts wavering a little bit, because you had the two other gentlemen there to help you. Now, as for the jury, maybe they were victims in the subway too. Maybe their family members were victims in that subway, or their children, or their friends. So people are gonna think different. They get, you get on the subway, man. You get tired of bullshit sometimes. Here comes Mr. Nuthouse. Here comes Mr. Nutty ass acting crazy. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there with a 9mm in my jacket. Okay, it's like the Bernard Guest thing. Okay, he went out. Yeah, so what? He could have went out hunting, but then he got the right guys, because after he shot them, they admitted to the detectives that they were gonna rob him. I had the same case in the Rockaway from 1998. This young man kept switching cars because he was getting followed by four guys. He went all the way to the last car, and the four guys came in there and surrounded him. He shot all four. They didn't kill him, but we didn't charge him. We didn't charge him. So I'm thinking maybe these jury, they like, wait a minute. This guy's acting a little irrational. Yeah, well, he was a little guy, and the guy had him dead to right. And he had the other two gentlemen there. You didn't have to hold that lock. You didn't have to keep that hold on him that long, man. You could have hemmed that guy right up. I'm done.
Garrett?
Yes. Oh, damn it! What happened here? Come on now.
You're on.
Oh, okay. I can't see anything. Let me see here. All right. Well, you can hear me. I can't see anything, but you can hear me. So what I will say is Donald, Mark, Jamel, and myself all worked in the New York City subway. You see these people every day. Every day on the train, there's someone irrational. Every single day, bar none. And most of them are harmless. This guy wasn't touching anyone. He was vocal. He was making noise. It happens all day, every day. There's no need for anyone to step in and touch this person. And normally, you have volunteers when they think they're tougher than the person for some reason. I actually maybe back in maybe around 2000 or so, I'm in the subway and I hear a very, very loud, boisterous person. And, he's making a lot of noise. He wasn't approaching anyone, much like this little guy that got killed. He wasn't approaching anyone, but he was loud and boisterous and he was demanding attention. And when I got closer, I saw that it was Mitch Blood Green, the guy that Tyson fought, right? Now, I know when he fought Tyson, he was listed at 6'5". He looked a little taller than that to me. He looked like he was about 6'6", and he wasn't in fighting shape, so he was probably about 285 pounds, 290, something like that. Nobody tried to mess with him. You know what I'm saying? So, people need to mind their business. If someone is venting or being loud or boisterous, keep going about your business. If they approach you, then it's a problem. But this guy went out of his way to grab this 120-pound guy, put him in a rear naked choke with a figure 4 leg lock, held him for 6 minutes. Another guy held his legs, and another guy held down his upper body. And even after the guy went limp for just about a minute, he still held her. I don't understand how anywhere in America, anybody sitting on a jury could not think that this is murder, manslaughter, whatever you want to charge him with. I don't understand how any jury could think this guy wasn't guilty of something, and he walked away clean. And there has to be a reason for it. And obviously, you know where I'm going with it. I think if he were a black man that did that to a white man, he would have gotten convicted of the highest charge, and there would not have been a question. There would not have been a question. They wouldn't have had to go back and try to see why this person's disagreeing. Everyone would have been in agreement. And that's all I have.
Okay. Jim, before I come to you, Don, you was trying to get in?
I was, but it's pretty much covered through this conversation.
Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, again, talking about juries, I think Dave put his finger on it, and Kyle has experienced it, I'm sure, in her career. And juries don't always look at the letter of the law like they're supposed to in a jury room. Emotions do come in. Now, I've been on a jury, and my personality kind of took over that jury. I probably could have had them going any which way I wanted them to go, because people are people. They're very easily influenced. Some are A personalities, and they're very convincing. And the bottom line, and it's just the system we've got. We just got to do our best. But juries are, they work on emotions a lot of times. And I think that, like Dave was saying earlier, any of those jurors that may have been scared at somebody or tired of every day coming home from work, they get, some homeless person, begging for something, and they've just had enough of it. So they're not doing what they're supposed to do in that jury room, and they're voting on emotion. And of course, as Derek said, there could have been a racial component to this as well. So.
Thanks. Cheech?
Yeah, I agree with everybody. And I also want to point out that, as Dave said, I think there are people that are getting tired of going into the subway and everything that they see, and you get scared, and Jim is, you guys are right, just leave it alone, don't step in, mind your business, unless they're physically attacking somebody, and you want to help out. But my other thing is that this will kind of letting people know that, you know, it's okay to be a vigilante. You know, I think more people will take matters into their own hand, which is dangerous. You know, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, but even if he's found not guilty, as a civilian, you're still liable to a civil lawsuit. So I don't think it'll be over there, you know, be over for him as far as that, because his family, the victim's family, can still go after him civilly. So that's something you got to think about when you're getting involved in something, you know, when there's no need to get involved.
Thank you. Rich?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My question's for Kyle. The dismissal on the charges, could that be brought about based on the maybe faulty or bad jury instructions? Is that a possible?
No, I mean, the judge instructed the jury, so he would, I don't really understand your question. He had instructed them, he would have to find that if he botched the instructions somehow, then that wouldn't pertain to, no, I'm trying to work it out in my brain as to why that would have anything to do with the dismissal. I think the dismissal had to do with the fact that they were hung on that particular charge, and then both counsel agreed to dismiss it and to move forward with the lesser charge. But he has to have a basis for dismissing it. And it sounds like it was on consent of both attorneys, not that there was some legal element of the charge that was missing. Because if that's the case, that charge would have never gone to the jury in the first place. If there was an element missing, or the people didn't meet their burden with respect to that charge, it would not have gone. He would have dismissed it prior to the jury ever having a chance to deliberate on that charge. So he gave that charge to the jury based on his own finding, the judge's finding, that there was a legal basis to support the charge, that the people had met their burden on the elements. So it wasn't a jury instruction issue. It was an agreement, I guess. I'm speculating that the court asked of both counsel to move it forward. In other words, and again, it must have been on the people must have been thinking, okay, somebody is voting guilty, so they're going to hold out for guilty on the lesser charge, and we're going to get that charge, and we're okay with that. So therefore, I will agree to this dismissal. But, you know, I mean, of course, I'm Monday morning quarterbacking it, but, you know, they didn't have to agree to that. Unless there's a legal basis to dismiss that charge, you don't dismiss it. Like, why are you dismissing it? They could have hung on that and came back. They could have put a note, we have a partial verdict. Maybe it's not guilty on the first and guilty on the second. Whatever. That's a verdict, though. You know, so it's not, well, if unless they can't say not guilty on the first. They could have said we have a partial verdict. We can't decide on the top count, but we have decided on the second. Would the court, you know, accept a partial verdict? But that's not what happened here. The judge dismissed that top count, leaving the people with, in the end, with nothing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mark?
Yeah, I guess this is based toward our audience. A lot of times you see things, and in a perfect world, it would be good if citizens would help each other in certain situations and help out. But in the real world, you really have to take into account the circumstances and is it worth it? And it sounds kind of cold-hearted, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. I'll give you an example real quick. So the other day I was driving home. I have my grandson in the back car, and I'm driving past a school bus, and I see the lady behind the school bus. To me, I thought she was trying to push the bus down the street. So I pull up. I'm like, "You okay?" So she looks at me. She said, "What?" I'm like, "Are you okay?" Like, once again, I'm thinking she's trying to push the bus. Maybe it broke down. So I was going to get out and help her. no, I have a student on the bus and he's trying to get out the back door. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I look at the front and the driver's telling me to go ahead. So, you know, it was an unruly student who was trying to exit the bus. I don't know where the kid lived, but for a second I was going to get out and help her. You know, cops, military, we all kind of have it ingrained in us that if we can help somebody, we want to help somebody. But then I had to say to myself, if I stop this kid from getting out and we get into it, and now I got to protect myself, it's a kid. And is it worth it? And you have to, in a split second, sometime like we had to do when we were actively working, you got to look at everything and kind of say, is it worth it? And I just had to pull off and say, okay, you're on your own. And I left. You know, she's holding the door and the other lady was, I guess, had the lock on and the kid couldn't get out the front. And I don't know the rest of the story. I don't even know if the cops came or not. And if they did, who knows how long they took to get there. That's another story. But it just goes to show you, we see things, and you as civilians may see things. You really got to ask yourself, is it worth going out of your way? You know, sometimes we talk about it, just being a good witness is probably the better thing to do. You know, of course, if it's a cop and something's going down, some of us will help, some of us won't, some of us, the majority of us, I think, would, but it's a difficult situation. And somebody also just brought up, once you do good, there's that liability factor, because if something goes wrong, you're held liable. And it could be an expensive cost trying to do the right thing by somebody. But it's just the way that our society is. So like it or not, we have to take that into account. So I just hope I got my point across.
Thank you. Derek?
Yes, and I was going to respond to Chief, but I'm going to respond to what Mark said first. In the case of Daniel Penny, there was nothing to help with because he wasn't making contact with anyone. He was only making noise, which again, in the subway is very, very commonplace. And as far as like helping people in the street, I have seen things occur while I've been working. But when I've been off duty, and of course now I've been off duty for 15 years, but when I've been off duty, I never saw anyone get shot. I never saw anyone get robbed. I did respond to those things when I was actively working. But in my private life, I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen an actual crime other than people fighting. When I see something, I'm the polar opposite of Mark. My first thought is, let me get away from this, because if bullets start flying, they don't have a name on it. So I don't want to witness it. If I happen to witness something, I'll be a good witness. But I don't want to stick around just to witness something, and I don't want to stick around to help. And as far as what Chief said, the civil lawsuits, you know, people open themselves to civil lawsuits when they do certain things. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is when most people, when they win civil lawsuits, they don't get anything. They don't get anything. And they don't get anything because most people don't have anything to give. There's nothing to take from them. And the third part to that is most people don't think that far ahead. If someone's looking to jump in and something's happening in the subway and they're going to jump in, they're not thinking, this could be a civil lawsuit down the road. But for me, my first thought is, let me kind of clear the space and get away from here, because if things get really hairy, I don't want to be the one to catch something that wasn't intended for me. So I just want to get the hell out of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad Derek just said one of the points I was going to make is that, and my question was, are there any deep pockets here in the wrongful death civil case that the father, I guess, is bringing against Penny? There are no deep pockets there. So even if they win a verdict there, you know, what are they going to get? What does he have? I don't know anything about his background or finances, whether he owns a home or what have you, but the chances are that there's not much there. And maybe it's just a principled situation that they wanted on record that someone is held accountable for the death of Jordan Neely rather than actually looking for funds. But this doesn't seem like there are any deep pockets there. The other point I wanted to make is about, I don't know, and I missed it if it was ever revealed what the racial background of this jury was. And obviously it's always an interesting factor because, you know, we look for an impartial jury, but there really isn't, that really doesn't exist, right? We all come into the courtroom and they sit in the jury box as individuals. They have their own personal biases and ideas, and jury selection doesn't weed out, you know, how people feel about their deep feelings about race or deep feelings about vigilantism or any other element that or issue that may have been at the heart of the trial. You're not going to ask all the questions to weed that, and you probably don't want those jurors anyway that have no feelings on anything. So you just try to get a balanced jury if you can, but we really never know. Our jury selection process is flawed in the sense that we really don't know who's sitting there, and that we make a lot of assumptions. We go with stereotypes. We try to put people in a particular box and to figure out how they may vote or what they may think or what their experiences are. But it's not. It's very imperfect. So you know, the biases are always present in all of these trials.
Thank you, Carl. Donald?
Yeah, I was just listening to it, and I was talking to my wife about it. I said, I don't know how I would have voted on that thing. And I did work with transit, like Derek said, and I didn't know all the details. I didn't know he didn't touch anybody, just making noise. But today, let me just tell you this, today, if there's something going on around me, I am leaving. I'm going another direction. I'm grabbing whoever's with me. I'm taking them with me. Because you're not helping either. We're out of here. Because now everybody's looking to sue somebody for anything. We have to be careful when you're helping someone even in a medical situation. You know, you may know CPR. Yeah, you may know it. But are you a doctor? You know, and I'm like this. I'm not doing anything. I've made up my mind. I'm not doing anything. I'm going. I'll call. I will do that. I'll call for assistance, but I'm gone. I'm not sitting around because people are so quick to sue you for helping. You know, and you're trying to do the right thing, and they're gonna come at you for your house, and everything. So, and I don't have deep pockets, but I do have a house. You know, and I want my house.
Yes.
You know, so that's it, AC.
Okay.
AC.
Yes.
I just want to respond to Kyle and maybe part of the group. Daniel, there was a GoFundMe page created for him.
Mm-hmm.
So there was and they created this page specifically to assist him in his defense attorney payment.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe there was a substantial amount paid out to in that particular GoFundMe. So that might be part of the reason why the father has decided to sue, because if he got nothing else, he got a piece of that GoFundMe.
I'm sure the lawyers will take that.
Yeah, that's spent already.
I forgot how much he really made, but I don't think the attorney is going to get all of that for defense.
Okay.
AC.
I'm gonna check it.
Donald, go ahead.
That's on. I'm just not my point. I'm just reading. Richard Bowden says, I've been on several juries. When the charge was dismissed on Friday, I'm thinking the jury was thinking they were going home. They came back on Monday and basically said "F you" to the court and went home. That's my opinion on this. And when I read that, I said that could be a great possibility. You know, like they probably thought this thing was over with on Friday, and then they got stuck on Monday and was like, man, please, I'm out of here. So anything could have happened back there, but I just wanted to say that I'm trying to monitor some of these things. I just go back up. Okay, I'm good, AC.
All right. They got tired of those lunches. Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I understand you guys who don't want to get involved, and that was kind of my point. The way society is and the way things are, you may want to, but you're reluctant to because of the circumstances. So, I'm not faulting anybody. It's a personal choice. And like I said, I acknowledge the liability factor. So you guys who see something and exit stage left, I understand it. It's not the way we were brought up as police officers to be, but unfortunately, the way society is, we have to be that way. So I understand. I just want to clarify that. The other thing, real quick, is GoFundMe's. Let me tell you, I'm so sick of these GoFundMe's. I just saw the other day where they're raising a GoFundMe for the guy who killed the executive in Pennsylvania. And do people really? They got too much money on their hand that they don't know what to do with. They can do a GoFundMe for me, and I'll start touring the world. I'll make sure that money's used right. But to raise money for this guy who's a killer shows you the mentality of some of these people who are out there. This guy killed somebody. Whether you agreed, whether you liked what he did at work or not, you can turn around and kill this guy, and now all of a sudden you're gonna support the killer because he had an opinion. But anyway, I'll leave that alone.
Okay. Derek?
Yeah, and so Mark just said it's not the way we were raised as cops to kind of skedaddle off to the side. In New York City, that's exactly what we were told. And we were told that from the time we started the academy, do not get involved in anything off duty. That was preached to us from day one. That's obviously not why I feel the way I feel. And the next message is for the people out there that are listening, not the people on the panel, but the people out there that are listening. Keep in mind also how the situation will look when the cops come. And obviously it has to go back to race. So if you're a black man and you have some white guy in a chokehold when the cops come, you're going to end up getting handcuffed. It may get sorted out and it may not get sorted out. You may still end up in jail just because you were trying to help. But keep in mind how it's going to look when the cops get there, particularly if you're a black man and they arrive on the scene and you're being physical with someone.
Yeah, thank you. JT?
Yeah, y'all done talk so much I almost forgot, but a jury. I mean, one thing I never saw and probably never will, Kyle, have to speculate on this. Have you ever seen an all-white jury or all-black jury?
All white all the time.
All white?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen an all-black jury?
No.
See, I thought I forgot.
You thought you forgot.
Cheryl?
Okay. You can say next video?
Yeah, we got the next video, but I don't know whether we did it or not, but I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody watching: Donald Coleman, Ruth Caffey, Melissa Sutherland Moss, DC again, Sylvia Butler. I don't got my thing. Oh, there we go.
Yo, we're cooking my grits, coach.
All right, Richard Bowden, Marcus Diggs. Coleman again. Yeah, the Richard Bowden we got, and yeah, that's everybody. I just want to say a shout out to everybody that's providing conversation in the chat. We are monitoring and we appreciate you. Our next one goes to New York. We're back in New York, New York City. NYPD is cracking down on what's called ghost cars. Now, a lot of people don't know what that is. Give a little background explanation, and then I'll play the video. I know we talk about ghost guns. Those are guns that are made by these new digital printers. Now we have ghost cars. And what that is they're cars that can't be identified. People are changing plates, VIN numbers, not registering cars, and then they're going through the tolls over the bridges and apparently costing the city a lot of money. So New York City is cracking down on that. Just in case your vehicle is not properly registered, beware. Let's take a look.
You switch gears to a report on ghost cars.
And a remarkable statistic tonight in New York City. The NYPD and the Department of Sanitation in the past 3 years removed more than 73,000 of these illegal so-called ghost cars. In fact, in just the last 12 weeks, they removed more than 5,000 of these vehicles.
This is a big deal, and it cuts down on crime and ripping off taxpayers as well. Eyewitness News reporter Tanya Rivera, live outside the Queens Midtown Tunnel with the story tonight. Tanya.
That's right, Sandra. Bill, I'm right outside, as you said, the Midtown Tunnel. The cameras behind me capture the license plate of every car coming and going. They not only help police crack down on toll evaders, also help them nab violent criminals, but they are an increasingly important tool in the city's war on ghost cars.
Nothing is more important than dealing with the ghost car issue.
To show how seriously the city is cracking down on vehicles with fake or altered license plates, so-called ghost cars, Mayor Eric Adams and Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch joined other city officials on Staten Island today to sound the alarm.
This is not just about defrauding the DMV or avoiding tolls or avoiding red light and speed cameras. More and more, these vehicles are being used in the commission of violent crimes.
The broad multi-agency initiative to seize and remove ghost vehicles, including scooters, mopeds, and ATVs, now even includes the Department of Sanitation. That combined task force has seized over 5,000 parked ghost cars in just the past 3 months. A city-state initiative removed over 3,000 since March and counting.
Since taking office, we have removed over 73,000 illegal vehicles.
The NYPD has long linked ghost cars to the car thefts and home burglaries plaguing Staten Island, saying thieves like these captured on home security cameras arrive in ghost cars looking for luxury vehicles with signs the fob is inside, like open side mirrors, even breaking into homes in the search for fobs.
Last summer, we stood here on Staten Island when the homes were being invaded by individuals who were coming over from New Jersey to break into their homes to steal the cars, and they were coming over in ghost cars.
But unique to Staten Island, thieves must come and go on bridges, more heavily surveilled than ever. And with congestion pricing set to kick in January 5th, officials have a clear message to drivers who may be tempted to obscure their plates.
Don't do it. You will be stopped, and you will be subject to serious legal action, including fines, possible arrest, and having your vehicles impounded.
Officials today stressed that even if it appeared the city was somewhat tolerant of ghost cars after the pandemic, that is definitely no longer the case. This past year alone, over 700 people have been arrested in toll evasion operations. Live at the Midtown Tunnel, Tanya Rivera, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay.
Bye, Melba. Melba's got to go. She's gone. Okay.
Okay. Mark, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was answered in the video. I was just going to point out real quick that it's also plates that are altered. So if you have like a valid plate and you alter it to where it can't be read,
right?
Really one of the biggest things. And also people who put the covers over the license plates.
Right. Right.
No.
Yeah. You know, I'm
sorry, I muted you by mistake. Could you unmute yourself? We lose you for good.
He can't unmute himself.
His hand is just flailing.
Oh Lord!
I just asked him to unmute. He can't.
Yeah, let me see if I can do something over here.
I'm asking him to unmute. So
I apologize.
All right. You want me to take it? Then you come back to Jamal and he can get this.
Yeah.
All right. Just really quick. Mark kind of stole my thunder. We're talking. There are things that they sell you on the internet that'll obscure your plate from being taken with cameras. And I just want you to understand, anything you do to that plate, I'm going to quote you from the DMV. Anything you do, your license plate can't even be dirty. I wanted to be clear. If you look at the where's my VNT? Your license plate has to be clean. So all of these excuses you want to leave got on it. I didn't know they're going to seize your car. That's what they're going to take your car. What that means is, I know a lot of people are like, they can't take my car. Yeah, they can. That's why they're changing the rules and regulations. They're going to impound your car, and there's a seizure process. I've done it many a times to people that thought their car couldn't get seized, and it's very easy to do. We'll even take over the payments for you. If you got $20,000 left on a $60,000 car, we'll take that over because that's $40,000 in our bank. That's the way it works with the state. So I just want to keep that in mind for people out there, just for our people watching. They have these mindsets of the plates. Don't worry about it. If it falls off, you're running the risk of losing your vehicle. And you're running the risk, if they can tie that to the amount of times you've gone through the tolls, the LPRs, which are the license plate readers, if they can tie that to the amount of times you went through, you're gonna have to pay that money. They're gonna sue you and ultimately maybe lock you up. So I just want everybody to be clear that all of these mindsets of they can't do this to me and they can't do that to you. Yeah, they can. Once they start cracking down, the legislature changes the rules. We're all subject to the same rules. So I just wanted to be clear about that with anybody watching. I know you when you stop. Oh, I didn't know, it was a mistake. If your plate falls off and you say I didn't know it fell off, you're still responsible. You're still going to get cited for not having a plate on your car. I want everybody to be clear. So it's up to you to make sure my plate is clean, easily to be read, the place where it's supposed to be. My zoom little tiny car zoom. It shouldn't be on the right, hanging to the left, and on the left, hanging to the right, and upside. Don't do that. And especially those guys that now have the electronic devices that'll block the plate. You're gonna get yourself in trouble. You're gonna get yourself arrested, maybe worse. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to be clear.
Hey, Jamel.
Yes, I'm sure it's a great initiative by the city, state, and officials, and I'm sure it's also targeted towards recouping a lot of the revenue that's being lost from these ghost cars. And also, it's a good thing to know that we have the enforcement officials out there getting these operators of these cars off the street, locking them up, finding them, giving them citations, whatever. That's a great thing to have. That's a great thing to do as well. But also, I just want to let our viewers know that you should also get into the habit of inspecting your plates, because this has happened to me. I had my plates switched by, I don't know who did it, but I came to my car, this is like about over 20 years ago, and I had other plates on my vehicle. So I had to go down to the precinct and file that my plates were stolen. And but yeah, just be conscientious that with these ghost cars, with these criminals that are out there trying to evade the law and trying to put cover on what they're doing. They're also out there snatching plates for cars, and they'll put a plate on your car, so you don't even know that you won't even realize that that's not your plate unless you really look at it. But just be conscientious of that. They're out there swapping plates.
Okay, thanks. Mark?
Yeah, that's a good point, Jamel. That has happened. Yeah, they're taking it serious, and they're taking it a lot further than what they used to. Years ago when we worked, that was just a ticket. You give a person a ticket, it was an equipment violation, dirty plate, block plate, whatever. But now they're impounding cars, and they're looking to hit you in the wallet. So weigh the odds. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Kyle?
Well, my question is about those people that may not know that their plate is faulty, or that they've lost a plate, or there's something obstructing it. And my question is that failure, or is that fact independent of the fact that, what if you have an easy pass? So your intention is to pay the toll as you cross over the bridge, but your plate is faulty in some way. So does one nullify the other? Does it matter that your Easy Pass was in order, but your plates were not. I mean, I guess I'm asking for those, not someone that's necessarily trying to evade. That you're not
Right.
trying to evade. You have a proper Easy Pass, but the plate reader cannot read your plate unbeknownst to you. So what happens in that situation, if anybody knows?
Mark,
I think your Easy. I think the Easy Pass. I think the Easy Pass is supersedes anything that the plate reads. When you come to, it doesn't.
I'm fighting a ticket right now, and I just got a letter from Easy Pass. I never, when I got my car was in an accident, got totaled, right? I got a new car with a new plate. I did not change that plate on my Easy Pass account. And went through Easy Pass, and I got a ticket for it. And I wrote a letter and says, hey, I have Easy Pass. It's up to date. It's, everything. They said, yeah, but that's not the plate associated with your pass. And then I explained to them everything. They said, it doesn't matter when you went through it.
I take my Easy Pass from my BMW and put it in my Mercedes. And I ride right through up there in New York. I've been driving, because I'm not buying 2 Easy Passes just to appease New York. So I smack it right out of my car and put it on the dash.
CJ, but maybe on your account you have both cars registered.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or in a rental. You might do that for a rental car.
That's true too, Kyle.
I used to do that. I used to do that and never had a problem. And then all of a sudden this time I got a summons for it.
It might be for the crackdown that they're doing with the ghost cars now, but I know I've done it.
They'll catch you, Cheryl. Don't worry, they'll catch you.
Well, they don't have to worry.
Right.
I think it's okay if you have a BMW and
Yeah.
Mr.
Chevy, you in trouble.
Maybe it's because I'm light skinned.
But it's the difference there that if you read that plate, it comes back to you, CJ, right?
Yeah.
If you read
both
that
plates
plate,
come back to me. They are.
It comes back to you, which does correspond to the Easy Pass. Is that may be different? Not so much at the rental car, because I mean, how far they?
No, but I have done that, Kyle. I have taken my Easy Pass.
Yeah, we haven't
put it in the rental, and
Okay.
I've done it. I've taken it from the Mercedes and put it in the BMW.
Yeah, I just recently did that with a rental. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it may be something new that they're doing with the crackdown with the ghost cars, but when I lived in New York, I've done it all the time.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Don't
live stream comments, guys, please.
Yeah, and Cheryl, you said you don't want to pay extra for the extra Easy Pass. Unless something's changed, there's no cost to having an Easy Pass. You have to keep you keep a certain amount of money in that account. Usually it's $20.
No, Derek, you actually pay for the device now.
Oh, okay. I've had mine for so long. They were free when I got them.
When I first got them too, but see, now I'm down here in North Carolina. I have to buy the device.
Oh, I still have mine from New York. I don't have one from North Carolina.
I don't.
So I live close to 77, and on 77, the regular New York Easy Pass works. So
so now I was just up there for 3 weeks. I drove up, as you guys know. I posted when I hit Richmond, and I was going to New York then. I had my Easy Pass, and that's a North Carolina Easy Pass. But they allow you down here to purchase an Easy Pass for the metro area up there, the 3 states up there, New Jersey, New York.
New York and Connecticut,
Yeah, you can get that Easy Pass down here for up there. So that's the reason I did, because I knew I would be doing the travel. More than likely from here, I'll drive home and I'll come through. So I did purchase that one, but they charge you like $8 a device. I ain't paying $16 to them.
I just never turned mine in when I moved. So I have 3 of them. I used to have 4 when I had my motorcycle, but I have 3 of them. I never turn them in. And I think you have to keep more than $10 in the account or give them a card number, and they automatically replenish it when it gets low. And the only place that I can't use it, and I'm saying semi-locally, is in Georgia. To go in the express lane, you have to have the Peach Pass. So I don't go in the express lane when I'm in Georgia. And in Texas, you had to have something else. So I couldn't go in the express lane in Texas.
Well, I'm not driving
Other than
to
that, the New York
Texas.
one works. Yeah.
You
I
good.
did not know that, Derek. That's good to know because I got the North Carolina pass and the Easy Pass, and I got the Sun Pass for when I go to Florida.
Mm. No, that's too much easy for me.
Yeah, and I kept mine also. Mine's the original one I've had for like 20 years.
I lost that one when I moved down here, but I got theirs when I came down here, and I'm like, okay, because I travel on the Parkway, didn't even know I got hit.
They see you on mute.
And they let me know that by, I got
By
an
mail.
easy letter. Yep, by
Yeah,
mail.
they
No,
send
honey.
you. They send you. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna finish up with the tolls a little later. Mark, you got something else?
Catch Cheryl. They're gonna
Florida has a different toll too that the Easy Passes aren't. But I wanted to try to answer what Kyle said. So ultimately, Kyle, it comes to the driver is responsible for the vehicle and everything that's on it or not on it. So like Jamel said, you may have plates on it, but it's your responsibility as the driver to make sure those are the proper plates. It's your responsibility to make sure that they're not covered up. It's your responsibility to make sure that it's not altered in a way. And you can tell sometimes how they're altered, whether the driver knows it or not. Nobody's going to walk up and paint your plate white or use white out or something that's non-reflective. You can tell me whatever you want, my man. That plate is so bad. I've seen plates where you couldn't even tell hardly what state it was. The latest thing I've seen is you couldn't even tell if it's a white plate or a yellow plate. The Empires are yellow, and then you have the other ones that are white. And these plates were like almost like a peach color. I had to crack up. But anyway, I hope that answered your question, Kyle. Ultimately, the courts will probably say, no, it's your responsibility. Unless you, like Jamel did, went to court, filled out a report that it was stolen, then they may give you, favor. But other than that, it's your responsibility ultimately.
Don.
Unmute yourself, Don.
I'm trying to be courteous and forget that I'm on mute. But I'm not only the plates, you're just responsible for that car. And Mark and I was talking about my car got a red school bus ticket. I mean, whether I'm driving it or not driving it, I'm still responsible for that ticket getting paid. So the responsibility goes to the owner, regardless of what we say, unless that vehicle is stolen. Yeah.
All right, D, we got 15 minutes to go. You got something else for us?
All right, let's do let's call it audible duty officer. The Terrell. We're gonna go to Terrell, Texas, I believe it is. An officer lost his life. Let's take a look.
A Terrell police officer was in that town east of Dallas in 40 years. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager.
I'm Heather Hayes. Officer Jacob Cantanosa shot and killed by a Mississippi man during a traffic stop late last night. Fox 4 Sean Rabb is outside the Terrell Police Department.
D, no picture.
Let me share a moment that just happened.
No picture?
Officers came out here, kind of forming a wall, if you will.
It's like a ghost video, D.
Let me know if you guys can see it. You got it this time?
Yes.
There you go. Officer, their daughter came out. They were escorted out, came here. They left a balloon. They laid flowers, and they placed a photo of Jacob Cantanosa in that wreath. It was a very touching moment and a reminder that this is not just a police officer. This is a husband and a father who is gone. And that police officer ambushed on a traffic stop, shot multiple times Sunday night at close range. A flag covers the body of Terrell police officer Jacob Cantanosa, shot and killed during a traffic stop Sunday night of a pickup with expired license plates from Mississippi. He called for cover, but before backup could get there, he was gunned down, shot several times in the head and face at very close range.
The officer was able to provide a license plate at the initial traffic stop. Off-duty officers, along with
Texas Highway Patrol located that vehicle and pursued them into Van Zandt County.
That's where Darian Cortez Johnson was apprehended after a 7-hour search and is now in the Kaufman County Jail charged with capital murder. The young officer married with the toddler daughter. People paying their respects at the Terrell Police Department.
It's really sad, and I feel for his wife and his kids. And I know God has a plan for his kids and his wife.
The officer began his career at the Dallas County Sheriff's Department, first as courtesy patrol, then entering the academy last year. He joined Terrell in July, about 5 months ago.
It's just so hard for police officers, man, to go out there and do their job. You know, we're taking the risks and stuff like that. You know, it take a person with, I mean, you know, a lot of courage to wanna to take on a, you know, to be a police officer, period.
At Boo's Liquor, near where the shooting happened, Brittany Wade says customers have been sharing their emotions.
They're just really sorry and cannot believe it happened just right here in the neighborhood. So it hurts my heart. It really does.
The officer's father, who drove from Cedar Hill to the hospital and rode in the procession to the medical examiner's office, posted a message on Facebook that in part reads, "I was standing outside his room waiting for them to transport him to the Dallas medical examiner's office with 3 others. All of a sudden, the lights flickered and it got really bright. That's Jacob getting his wings."
D, thanks for honoring him like that. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Dave?
It's tragic. I feel bad for the young man's family, wife, daughter, and his dad. His dad had to.
Dave can hear you.
His dad had the courage to get into that procession and go with him to the medical examiner's office. I mean, come on, man. But I will tell you guys this: they're gonna fry that guy's ass in Texas. I guarantee you that he's fried. Okay, and but that still won't bring this young man back to his wife and the baby and his dad. But you know, there's no. I get tired of some of my friends saying that. I get tired of people saying period. Ain't no such thing as a damn routine car stop. You can have grandma. You can have the nicest grandma in the world in a damn car. She could pop your ass at any minute. We could, because we put our guard down when we see, oh, there's nothing here. There's no such thing as that. Okay, so blessings to this whole family and blessings to that department.
G?
Yeah, we always talk about police officers and stops and things that happen, and we look at people's backgrounds. And this being a new police officer, and my understanding is the gentleman had no record, no reason to do this. And but this was a way to go, and it makes me think about the responsibility we all have in these conversations that we're having, to where this thing is possible, to where it's okay for somebody that doesn't have any connection with law enforcement, crimes, just to decide, I want to get away. And that's a scary conversation, that's what we are, that our youngsters are playing these games, and they're connected to this mindset of I can end a person's life and get away. And that's where we are. And it's a shame that this husband, this father, son, probably uncle, cousin, is now gone because of a traffic stop, because of a ticket, because of probably less than $100. But that's what that's what life is worth right now. We just talked about Daniel Penny, and nobody's getting any time for killing folks. We were going to share a video with a guy that jumped over the bench at the judge. He got 26 years. We don't see that for murder. We see 6, 7 years, 4 or 5 years for taking a life, for planning to take a life. So it just makes me think, having done this job for 32 years, is that all life is worth? And I thought I was even an officer who's going to stand in front of you and what's going to hurt you. Is that all his life is worth? You just want to get away? $100? Something for us to think about when we're talking to our youngsters and they're playing these games and they got these mindset and listening to this music and watching these movies. I think we all need to take a stop and say that's not real, because that's where we are now. They think that's real, and that's why this was an option for this young man. That now his life is forever affected. I used to say he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life, but we both know that's not going to happen. So he's forever affected. And how many people past that are affected? All of us in the room are affected when a police officer loses his life, because we know there for the grace of God went us, all of us.
That's true.
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Jamel?
Yes. Our condolences to the family of the officer, as well as the department that he served and his co-workers. That video speaks volumes in regards to car stops, and how, this is one of the most dangerous enforcement approaches that an officer can face, is these car stops. And, it just goes to show you that, officers don't take for granted when they approach these individuals who will operate these vehicles, but yet and still, you just never know what can possibly happen when you make these stops. And that video just speaks volumes, to our viewers as to the dangers that law enforcement officers face when they make these stops. And you really don't know what the outcome could be. And with this video, we saw the outcome was unfortunate. And our condolences. Thank you, guys.
Garrett?
Yep, and I agree. I concur with Jamel on the condolences for the family's loss. And I just want to say that all of us here that serve as police officers are very fortunate to have made it through our careers whole. For the most part, most of us unscathed, not injured. We're not walking with a limp. We were very fortunate. And someone brought up the guy jumping over the bench, attacking the judge, and he got 26 years. He got 26 years because the judge took it personally, and it was personal. But I think there are times when they need to take other things more personally, things that don't necessarily affect them, but affect so many other people. They need to take it personally. And some of these people really need to get charged. They need to get convicted, and they need to be sent. They need to be sent for what's considered to be rehabilitation. And a lot of people get over because if it doesn't happen to you, it's not taken personally. I just want to say that.
Rich?
You're muted, Rich.
Mute.
You're muted.
Unmute. Let's see if I can get him to.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm asking him, but he won't.
He's trying.
He's trying to get to it.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything to bring while he's working on that?
He got it.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't like this new format where you're controlling us.
Yeah, I just had a problem with something in the house trying to get there. But anyway, I just want to piggyback on the condolences to the family. It's such a tough thing. My commentary is this officer lost his life over an expired plate. You know, there's nothing else to it. You know, you think somebody would take an officer out, maybe a third striker, or, you know, a person just committed a horrendous crime and didn't want to get caught. But we're talking about an expired plate. What's the motivation? It's just hard for me to realize that people don't care about taking other people's lives. It's not even an afterthought. People just react.
Nope.
And we're at an age where people don't think about the consequences or who they hurt, and they just continue to do it without a thought. It never used to be this way.
It's their match day at work.
It's a sad commentary on where we're at. We're upside down, inside out. Think the way things used to be, what's happening now. You know, people that get away with stuff because they're rich, affluent. You know, you take a person like Kyle Rittenhouse that was able just to shoot people and just walk away, being 17 years old, mom dropping him off. I mean, it's just a crazy time now that we just, you know, people are held accountable, but other people just get away with it, you know, and it just doesn't, there's no rhyme or reason. And it's a sad thing for this officer to lose his life over an expired plate. It's just horrible. That's all I have.
All right, we mentioned the family, the department. Then another part of that is the community. That community is broken, and it's going to take a while before the relationships are mended. The people who trust the police, before they can be relaxing. The people who don't like the police, they need to be relaxed also. That community is going to hurt for a while also. Thank you for the commentary. D, you have one more for us to leave with?
Yes, I do.
Over a speeding BMW pulling into a college campus. I know what you're thinking, but what happens next?
No video, dude.
You can't see it?
How's it going? Good, how are you? Good. Who's just stopped just for your speed going down 8th Street?
8th Street, Cap.
You turned off at 13th Ave and then you went...
Yep, I know what you mean. After I get a tied and have a presentation and thought my buddy was home, but he's not, and I'm running behind ice.
Okay, so, yeah, I was wondering why you looped down 8th Street and then back up 6th.
That's one of my good friends' house, and he knows how to tie ties, and I honestly don't know how to.
Where's your tie?
Right here.
It's evident quickly that this student was telling the truth, so this officer decides to help.
While I do this, why don't you grab your proof of insurance and your driver's license quick?
Yep, sir.
There, you should be able to adjust it.
Okay, thank you so much.
One 62 Birds, Minnesota 27. Probably not the best now, but it'll work.
Yeah, it'll work. A lot better than what I was going to do, that's for sure. Thank you so much.
Last name is... For your insurance?
Yep.
Oh, it does have the car in there. Never mind.
Yep. That's
okay. And that one expired in May, so make sure you get a new one in there.
Yeah, I have.
Mom and Dad.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually going home right after class after the presentation.
I gotta tie it shorter here. It's kind of hard with all this crap on.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I can have something in class here too. Yeah, I kind of thought I was going to get dinged up when you were behind me.
I was going to stop you sooner, but then that blazer pulled out between us.
Yeah, I thought you were going to get me there. Then.
Go ahead. Try that. There's only a little bit of a tail there, so.
Okay.
No, it's almost too long, but.
I'm going to have this jacket on, so.
Looks good.
Thank you.
All right, go down.
Thank
you.
Had a Trump tie.
All right.
Okay, we're back.
Again, I do want to say thank you to each one of you, again, collectively and individually, taking time out of your schedules. It's busy. We're coming into the holiday season. I know we'll be off sometime in the future because of the holiday, but at this time, I just want to say thank you. JT, good to see you back with us again.
Yeah, I see y'all tried to black me out, but I got connections.
Yeah,
Thank you, Donald.
Yeah, we miss you. We miss you.
I had my computer cleaned and they took everything out,
Okay. All right. Well, we're praying for all of you guys and your families as well. Those on Facebook Live, thank you for joining us. Also, I see face on there. I know Karen Caffrey says over $35,000 was donated to the Luigi Mangione, I guess, GoFundMe, Defense Fund, or whatever it is. Yeah. So, people listen. I'm not mad at anybody that's putting money in there. It's your money. Do what you want to do with it. But people, they're taking care of who they want to take care of. Let's put it like that. This guy comes out and does an assassination in broad daylight, and people want to support that.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. But, is that what were you saying, Dave, before we close out?
And his family is a bunch of millionaires, and they giving money. Come on, man. I saw this black dude on. They showed him on social media on the news how he could understand how people feel this way about. I said, man, somebody get this savage off my fucking TV, man. Okay? Come on, man. You shot the man in the back like a goddamn coward. The poor lady was standing there. She used the bathroom on herself and damn near had a heart attack. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. Renee Henderson said the same thing.
All these young people too, bro. I'm getting tired. They need a good fucking ass whipping. All of these young people, man. The way they speak, man. They never got that ass touched back in the day. Touch. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, Dave. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Dave has a way of letting you know how you feel. So thank you, Dave. We appreciate you. And I'm sure there's others that are looking and listening and appreciate you as well. Renee Henderson did say his family is well off. So if his family is well off, what you giving money for? That's another story. Again, thank you. Until we meet the next time, let us pray. God, our Father, we thank you for your goodness, your kindness, your mercy, your grace. We thank you for each and every person that's on this Zoom call and Facebook Live. We pray now that God, you will continue to watch over us and keep us from all hurt, harm, and danger. We continue to pray for JT and his wife. We're praying for Ursula and Tyrone, praying that God, you will watch over them. And we pray for Jerry in her absence, wherever she may be. We're asking that God, you will watch over her and keep her as well. Bless us now collectively and individually. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.